Good morning, everyone. This is Bernie with CG Spectrum. Happy Monday. Hope you guys all had a good weekend. It was a Father's Day weekend for me. Just did typical Father's Day stuff. Hope you guys were able to celebrate that with your dads. Alright, so let's do this Kaiju turnaround. Let's get this over with today. Part of me wanted to make a bet that I would finish this, or else I would, do something to myself. I don't know what I was gonna come up with, but I wanted to motivate myself to really finish this thing off. But I'm not gonna say anything crazy publicly, because then you guys are gonna hold me to it. But I'm pretty sure I could finish this today, unless, I do what I think is finished, but when I show it to the people who, tasked me with this, if they need more information, then that's what I will do. But I'm pretty sure I can finish what I planned out to do for today, for this ortho. How are y'all doing? What you guys do on the weekend? I did notice that more people aren't wearing their masks. I guess they're getting more lenient with that. I don't follow all of that. Yeah, but maybe I should follow it, but I just wear a mask. I mean, I hate going back and forth. I just wear it. In my mind, nothing has changed. But they keep saying, now it's okay, safe to wear a mask, now it's not. So they keep changing it up, so I just don't follow any of that. I just wear a mask until it's all gone. I just don't like switching it up all the time. Anyways, this is the front view. So we will sketch that in. This is supposed to be on, well, it's on this side now from the front view. Yeah. So yeah, I don't even know what's going on here, so I just gotta make it up and sketch it in, and then figure it out later on a different layer. Hey Jessica, you had brunch with your family? Saw your grandparents? Awesome. Jessica says a bet is a great idea. To you guys probably. I don't know, think of something though. I don't want to think about it. You guys think of something. Don't make me do anything completely crazy. I'm just gonna fudge it if at the end, last 5 minutes, I'm just gonna say, okay, I'm done, no matter what, whether or not it looks finished or not. Just to avoid doing the punishment. Oh, over the weekend I made an enclosure, like a chicken run basically for my chickens. already had a chicken run, but it was, you know, it wasn't huge. Um, and I was just letting my chickens free range in my backyard. We have a pretty big backyard, so we just let them do whatever. But the problem was they kept hanging out in the patio area, and they're like pooping everywhere. I think I told you guys they're pooping everywhere. And I tried to like create this little like a bamboo fence thingy around the patio so they wouldn't come in. But they of course still figured out a way to come in. So I decided, man, we gotta do something about this. I can't be cleaning like my patio every other day, you know. I don't have time to do that. So yeah, I decided to create like an open chicken run, like an open top chicken run. So I did that, but again, they somehow figured a way out to get out of that. So what I have to actually do is I have to clip their wings. I don't know if you guys heard of stuff like that, but you have to cut like their flying wings. And then just one side of their wings. Oops. And then that'll keep them off balance when they try to fly. So they won't fly. They won't try to fly anymore. I was trying to avoid doing that just because, you know, it's not painful or anything because it's just like cutting your fingernails or hair or something like that. But, you know, I just thought it was kind of sad if they're all wobbly. But the poop got to me. I'm like, no, that's it. Gotta cut their feathers off. So I'm gonna do that sometime this week. And I think that's it for me. I don't think I did anything else during the weekend besides the Father's Day stuff, swimming. Swimming's like a every weekend thing for us now, just because my kids love it so much. I didn't do anything else, to be honest. Nothing interesting. Took a nap. Catch up on some sleep. Tell me if you guys did anything interesting. Since my life doesn't seem that interesting right now. I want to live through you guys. You tell me. Whoops, that looks wrong. Wow. Hey, what's up, Penny? Yes, I did have a good Father's Day, but one of my younger son actually told me, he's like, can I be honest with you, Dad? I actually like Mom better than you. So that kind of hurt my feelings quite a bit, actually. I didn't show it, but I was like, oh man. And I asked him why, and he basically said that like he thinks I'm too strict, and like I criticize him too much, which also made me really sad, actually. It's because like I'll tell him things like to correct him, I guess, with certain things, and he doesn't like being corrected. So I asked him how I can correct him in a way that's, I guess, easier for him to hear. So yeah, we came up with some ideas. So I'm gonna try to implement that. Yeah. Hey, Julian. Hey, Pat. Tell about your chickens, please. I already did. They're running. I created a chicken run for them, like a larger area where they can hang out, and they figured out a way to get out. Well, basically, they're flying out. The border is about 4.5 feet tall, or the wall or whatever that I created, but they could still fly over it. One couldn't do it, but the other 9 actually all flew out over time. So I gotta figure that out. Oh no, I said I gotta clip their wings, clip their feathers. I mean, sorry, not their wings, their feathers. Oh, so my youngest son is only 7 years old, but he's super mature the way he speaks. He's really mature. He's more mature than my 9-year-old in the way he communicates. I don't know how he ended up that way, but that's how he is. It's funny, we get a kick out of it. Me and my wife, we get a kick out of him, like the way he speaks to us. He speaks like a little adult. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Sometimes I'll be talking about stuff and then he'll say, "Dad, it sounds like you're bragging." He'll correct me. Um, but anyways, he's a funny guy. Yeah, Julian, the one that didn't break out was Miss Fuzzball. That's funny how you knew. She is the smallest one, so I think she's the smallest one and the nicest one. So either she just decided, hey, I'm gonna follow the rules here and not break the rules, or she's like, I just didn't have the strength to fly out. Which is kind of sad because all the other girls flew out and left her there by herself. But anyways, we actually bought or I ordered name tags for them. Like there's these little tags that go around their ankles, right? Because the kids wanted to distinguish or be able to distinguish between the chickens once they grow up. Right now we can tell just because, you know, again, some of them are smaller, things like that. But later on, they're worried that they're not going to be able to tell the difference. So we ordered some tags that go around their ankles, and we're going to write their names on it. Stuff like that. Yeah. Both of my boys are really sensitive. They're like, again, they're the creative type. So they're not like the typical, like, I guess, boy that shrugs things off or is like very simple, like in their thinking. You know what I'm talking about? They're like a little caveman usually, right? But these kids are like super sensitive. Which makes it like, you know, they're more creative for sure because of that. At the same time, certain things that we do affect them like deeply. So we have to like talk about things a lot. Which is a huge contrast between the way I grew up with my dad, right? I don't think we ever talked about anything like if we had issues. Meaning like he's the one who never wanted to talk to me about those things. Like I would want to talk to him about it, but he didn't want to talk about it. And he's still like that to this very day. If I talk to him about certain things, like, yeah, to like resolve issues that we have, he still doesn't want to talk to me about it. He will just walk away. He'll kind of grumble, like mumble something and walk away. just a different generation, which is fine. We're all different, you know. We all grew up in different times. He didn't have the luxury to be sensitive the way he grew up. He grew up in excuse me. He grew up during the Korean War, actually. He said he remembers as a little child seeing like the bombs bursting in the air as like their his parents were carrying him in the middle of the night, like in the dark. They were traveling down from North Korea to South Korea, just walking by foot for days. And yeah, so that's like a completely different way to grow up, right? And then of course him having to like figure out how to survive in this world. He came to the US. I mean, this is a typical story, but he came to the US with nothing. Like, I think it was only $5 or something like that. I don't remember. It was something less than $50 for sure. And then he had to figure out a way to survive here, basically. So, if you grow up like that, how do you have time to be sensitive, right? You don't. You don't have the luxury to be sensitive. So I understand. It's hard for him to turn that on and off, right? When to be sensitive, when not to be. I think it's hard for people in general to turn that on and off. It's hard for like if you're a director or art director or something like that, or leadership level, like it's even hard to turn that on and off. When to be critical and when not to be, right? Even for teachers, I think there's a lot of teachers in my family, and it's hard for them to turn off that teacher like mindset, right? Where you talk to people like they're children. Well, because I have like elementary school teachers in my family, or my dad's a professor, or was a professor. He's retired now. So he always talks to you like he knows everything. His way is like... Yeah, give me 1 second. Sorry about that. My wife just told me that all the chicken, or half the chickens got out. So she's asking me, should I let the other ones out? Because she feels sorry for them. So I told her to just let them out. They win. Alright, let's do the ground here. Yeah, but I do have a lot of respect for my dad. I do make a lot of fun of him, but at the same time, I really have a lot of respect for him. I feel like he's a better man than I am, because he just went through like really tough times, and he's obviously imperfect, but he went through a lot of difficult times and he came through, you know. He did a lot of good things. He raised all three of, you know, me and my siblings. He did the best he could, you know. And I think sometimes, like, growing up, a lot of or even adults, right, forget that about their parents. They're just doing the best they can. They're not perfect. They have issues, like all of us. Just doing the best they can. Whoa. Getting a little confused here with these rocks. But yeah, you guys are lucky if you have good relationship with your parents, for sure. I know a lot of people who do not have a good relationship with their parents. And it's tough, you know? But I hope that people don't give up on their relationships, that they, you know, try to work it out. Sometimes it may seem impossible to work out. I've been through that too. Yep. But I'm glad that I didn't give up, you know. Yeah, even though there were times when I did want to give up, for sure. I don't know what's going on here. All this rock stuff, to be honest, for the most part, the 3D artist has to play around with it. I guess like the major shapes is what I will focus on, and the rest of it, leave it up to the 3D artist. It's just texture, you know, for the most part, especially the ground. But I will give them some direction on the lava parts. Yeah, like right here. Oops. Alright. Oopsie. Alright, let's clean this up. Is that enough information for myself? Let's double check. This through. Where'd that donut shop go? Uh-oh. That doesn't even look right. Perfect. Let's keep going. Sometimes I will, I told you guys this before, I would purposely think delusional or be delusional and think extremely positive about what I'm doing, even though deep inside I know it's not true. But I will cheer myself on. It's a little trick I do to just move forward. Because it's easy to think negative about everything, you know what I mean? And then that doesn't really help you move forward, so I will trick myself. I'll just say, this is perfect. Awesome. And it actually works for me. It's kind of weird, but it'll just make me think of it like kind of like a game, I guess. Like to just not take it too serious, but move forward, you know? Anyways. It's kind of a silly thing, but that's what I do. Or else the other option is to think negatively, right? And that's not good either. So be delusional. Use delusional thoughts to your advantage. That's the lesson for the day. Oh boy. Jessica says it's really cool to hear about your family. I feel like sometimes it's hard to understand your parents' thoughts until you have kids yourself. Yeah, that's true. For me, I think it was after I got married, I realized a lot of things about myself and my dad. And then after I've had kids, of course, same thing. I learned a lot about myself and my dad, because basically, for me at least, what I realized was I'm a lot more like my dad than I thought I was. And in many ways, it's common sense, right? I think growing up, a lot of like young adults think, nah, I'm not like my parents. I never want to be like my parents. I hate my parents. My parents are crazy, whatever, right? But really, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, does it? You still have the same genes, the same genetics, right? So you'll have the same tendency or similar tendencies, right? I'm not going to say it's the same. It's not the same, but there's a lot of similarities, right? And how you will respond to a certain situation or certain stressors or certain fears or certain just, depending on the circumstances, like you will respond in a similar way to one of your parents at least, or a combination, right? That's at least my opinion, or my experience, right? Sorry. Yeah, so it's really interesting actually. For a while I was like in denial about how similar I was to my dad, because I think I told you guys at one point I really hated my dad growing up. So I didn't want to be like him. And I'm different, but at the same time, there are similarities, or there are things that I wish I wasn't a certain way, but I am. I have to admit that I am, right? So yeah, those are the things that you start understanding, and I started to understand why my dad was the way he was. That's what it really was, is that I started understanding, oh, he's like that because of these reasons, because he went through this kind of stress, these kind of worries, and he was just responding to those situations. And they were, of course, less than ideal situations, right? Which is life, you know what I mean? But it made sense to me later, because when you're younger, you don't think about why, right? Why is my dad or mom acting like this or doing this or making this decision or whatever? But later on, it made more sense to me because I was going through the similar situations and I was responding in a similar way, and then it all made sense. I'm like, oh. A lot of things. I started looking back at things that I thought my dad did that didn't make any sense to me at the time, and I couldn't understand. I thought he was crazy. But then again, it's because he never talked to me about why. He didn't tell me the reasons. We never had those conversations. That's why it didn't help make sense to me, like what he was doing, right? And why he was doing it. So I just had to guess, but yeah. Yeah, and for sure, like, it's funny how people who don't have kids, they think they understand what people who do, people that have kids, couples that have kids, they think they understand. Oh yeah, I understand what you're going. No, you don't understand. You don't have kids. You think you understand, but you actually don't. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's interesting. A friend of mine who is a counselor, like a family and what is it called? Anyways, he's like a family therapist, right? And at the time, he wasn't married and he didn't have kids, so he was just single. And I was married and I had kids, and we were the same age though. And I would share with him, things that I was going through because he's a friend of mine, right? And all he would tell me is like what I should be doing, like all the things I'm doing wrong, what I should be doing. He would like start you know, trying to be my therapist. And I was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, you don't even understand what you're talking about. But he's like, no, I do. I've been trained. And he has a point. I mean, of course he's been trained, but it doesn't mean he understands, right? There's a difference between really understanding what someone's going through and why they respond a certain way, opposed to like reading about it in a book. You know what I mean? So I had to yell at him a couple times and tell him to shut up. If I didn't do that, that would have ruined our relationship because, you know, if I just held it in. So I had to have a real talk with him about it, and we figured things out. He eventually did apologize, and so it worked out. But he was a, we were friends for a long time. We were friends since, it was 10th grade. Yeah, sophomore year in high school. Yeah, so decades. We've been friends for decades. Man, I'm getting so distracted. I gotta keep going with this. Alright, let's do the sharper brush. Okay. Julian says these streams are very fun for me and also motivate me because it's like to work next to a professional and not just sitting alone on my desk. Cool, I'm glad somehow these motivate you because I'm working on orthos. I don't feel motivated working on these. But that's cool that you feel motivated. I guess this could be a lesson on how to get through things, like when you're working on stuff that you don't like or you're struggling with, right? Which will happen, you know what I mean? So just trying to make the most out of it and figuring out ways to get through stuff is important too, I guess. Feel free to tell me about your lives, you know what I mean? Things you're going through as an artist or whatever. Anything's cool with me. I'm always rambling about my own thing, but yeah, feel free to share what you guys are going through or what you want to talk about. Get sick and tired of rambling about my own stuff. Like half the time, I don't even remember what I talked about after the stream. That means I was rambling. Like some students will contact me and be like, oh yeah, I like what you were talking about on the stream, and I'm like, they're like, you're talking about this or that, and I'm like, I don't remember that. Did I talk about that? I'm like, what? Tell me what I said about that. Julian says, seeing you control Z your strokes and doing them over and over again until they are perfect, that's helpful. That's funny. Oh, Julian says, I got an invitation for an interview for 80 level because I raged about a feature they didn't have. Oh, interesting. Cool, when is your interview? That sounds interesting. Is 80 level that the website that connects artists with jobs? Is that what it is? I just heard about that yesterday, so I'm not 100% sure. What is going on? Jessica says, I actually had a good heart-to-heart with my mom yesterday about my art path. She obviously wants what's best for me, but sometimes she gets worried because it can be a long road. But I know it'll be worth it at the end. Jessica, are there people in your family that are artists or on the creative side? Julian says, yeah, it's that CG Spectrum is connecting the student a bit with them. Yeah, that's what I heard. That's good stuff. Evil Raccoon says, I see you're still stuck with the perpetual torment that is this character turnaround. What are you talking about? This is awesome. I love doing this. I've been re-educated. I went through a re-education program. I love doing this. I'm using my delusional tactics to keep pressing on. I have no idea what you're talking about, Evil Raccoon. I'm gonna put this on a different layer. It's or on a different screen. Keep going back and forth. It's silly. What's up, Pietro? Yes, we are here again. Why not? Jessica says, I have a cousin who has always inspired me and is talented, but she never really strived to make art a career. Other than that, no one in my family is super artistic. Okay. Well, yeah, it's good that you're able to talk to your mom. I hear that a lot from aspiring artists, right? That they and you know, like the parents' concerns are all good. I mean, it's all coming from a I think a legitimate place, right? Because it's not easy to be successful in art or make a career out of art, right? It is not easy, and I think most people understand that. So that's why the parents are concerned. Yeah, so their concern is all coming from a legitimate place, I would say. But yeah, at the end of the day, you know, I still think people got to do what they really want to do in life, because you only live once, right? Why waste your time doing stuff you don't want to do? Yeah. At the same time, the thing that you as the artist, aspiring artist, has to think about is, are you doing enough to make this happen, right? Are you making it, doing enough, working hard enough? Usually that's the issue, is working hard enough, putting in the hours to make this a career, make your goals a reality, right? That's the question you guys have to struggle with. I think everybody struggles with in the creative field when they're aspiring to be an artist or make art as a career. There's no limit to how hard you can work. You don't want to kill yourself, obviously, over doing this, but yeah, I was about to say something that could be controversial, but I have to use better terms. But you do have to sacrifice a lot, because you only have a limited amount of hours in each day, right? Everybody has the same amount of hours. So what are you gonna do? Most people just don't work hard enough. It's definitely competitive, super competitive. And that shouldn't discourage you guys. It should just make you, what it's gonna do is it's gonna weed out the people who don't really want it. That's what it does, in my opinion, right? Hey, what's up, Hottest? Yeah, it'll weed out people that don't genuinely want it. At the end of the day, whoever's left are the people that actually wanted it more, right? There's always going to be people in any field that say, oh, I really want to do something, right? But at that point, it's all talk. You know what I mean? You have to check it out like a couple years later to see if it was all talk or not. You know what I mean? And the results show for it, like how much work you put into it. Shows how much you really actually wanted it. Does that make sense? Because every person that I met in art school, like art college, if you ask them, hey, you really want to do art as a career? They all say yes. Do you know what I mean? But along the way, a bunch of people quit. Along the way, a lot of people goofed around. You know what I mean? They didn't work hard. So the years that pass by weed out the people that really didn't mean it. Does that make sense? But I feel for you guys. I feel for all of you guys, honestly, because I've been there. It's a struggle. Another day, another struggle. That doesn't mean it's like all negative and bad. That's not what I mean. Because honestly, the struggle is part of the fun, in my opinion. That is part of the fun. It's just like a game. If a game was too easy, you're using cheat codes. You know what I mean? What's the fun in that? What is the fun in that? At least that's how I see it. And to be honest, we're all, in my opinion, fortunate to even try to do art, you know? It's a luxury. Other people in different parts of the world don't even get a chance, not even close. I messed up here. Jessica says, I appreciate that you tell it like it is. Julian says, you have to be like Ruffy or Zoro from One Piece. Started watching One Piece and their mindset is really motivating. I think I only watched like a couple episodes of One Piece. I couldn't get into it. I saw that it was super popular, so I tried to watch it. I don't know, I couldn't get into it. Maybe I'll try again sometime. Jessica says, yeah, it makes total sense. Evil Raccoon says, it's easy to say you're willing and passionate for something, but it's always been action through doing and not saying. Yeah. I agree with you. Sometimes you could say stuff. I mean, I think it's fine to like say stuff, right? Like, it is sometimes that saying it out loud in front of people makes it so you're like making a promise to yourself, right? And to other witnesses, right? That you're gonna do something. You know what I mean? So that in itself could be motivating. Obviously, you don't want to just throw out and say stuff without thinking about it or being serious about it. You want to say things when you know you're sure, right? When you know you're serious, right? But meaning, like, again, publicly saying it out loud can be a motivator when you do it the right way. Yeah. Because people are going to hold you to that. That's why I didn't make a bet for this one that I would finish this today, because people are going to hold me to it. Julian's asking, do you have a favorite TV show? Do you have time for that? I don't know if I have a favorite TV show right now, like that I'm watching right now. I just watch stuff on Netflix. It's just random things. Do I have a favorite? I'm trying to think of a recent one that I've watched. I don't know. I like a lot of different things, so I'm not sure if I have a favorite. I like sci-fi stuff, and like that Black Mirror stuff was cool. Yeah. These days there aren't that many good movies to watch. But I guess, yeah, TV shows are the new thing. Or have been the new thing for a while. Over movies. Hadis says it's really time-consuming to watch One Piece, but it's the most cohesive story I've ever watched. Wow, interesting. And he's watched 900 plus episodes. That's crazy. Is it worth it, Hadis? Is it worth watching? Like 900 episodes? That's what I want to know, because I don't know if I should start watching it again unless it's really worth it. Because what if I get hooked and I'm spending 900? I don't know. Like what is that hour wise? That's gonna be like, is it 30 minutes long per episode? So 450 hours of oh, Hadis says 100% worth it. Okay, awesome. All right, I'll spend about 400 hours watching it. Evil Raccoon asks, for the past few streams, I've noticed all the books behind you. What kind of books do you like to read? These are like mostly all art books. Most of them, like either art reference books or different art books. I used to work for a game company that would give us a stipend where we could use $1,000 every year to buy just to buy different things with, and I chose to buy art books. Yeah, so I worked for them for about 5 years. So these are all the books that I bought. So these are about like over, it's probably like over maybe around $6,000 worth of books. Yeah, so I would buy like expensive books with that money too. But anyways, I think about 30% of these books I didn't even like go through. Some of them are excuse me, some of them are still sealed. But anyways, yeah. It was fun to like collect books and just buy whatever I wanted. Oops. But yeah, there's let me see. A lot of reference books. I'm into animals, right? Creatures and things like that. So I have a lot of reference books on that. Like add different creatures, animals. The art, a lot of art of books. Game art books, movie art books, stuff like that. Yeah, I wish I had more time to just sit down and look through these books. And my kids actually look through a lot of these when they're bored, or they come into my office and they'll be like picking through the books. Dang, today I didn't complain that much, huh? I'm learning. Been re-educated. Re-education camp. Worked on me. But seriously, I'm not complaining as much. Haris, do the characters grow up in the anime? Do they actually like get turned into adults later on? Or do they never age? Is it like Naruto where they do age? Whoops. Evil Raccoon says his fellow book hoarder. Cool. Julian says the same thing. Yeah, books are cool. Oh, my dad is a book hoarder, but his books are all like, you know, crazy philosophical stuff. But yeah, he was living in Korea and he moved he moved back to California last year. And when he moved, he brought, I think I counted 25 like large boxes of books. I think it was over 25 maybe, I don't remember, but it was over about 25 boxes of books over from Korea. And that's him reducing. He said he donated like thousands of books to his school, like his university. And that's him reducing it to 25 boxes. And it was just still so much. I was like, what are you going to do with all these books? Like, I thought you were retired. But I think the problem is he just can't let go. It's like he is a book hoarder, so he can't let go, you know? It was like his precious, you know what I mean? I actually don't think I'm that attached to my books. I kinda am, but I wouldn't cry over it if it burned. Oh, sorry, anyways, I was reading through your guys' comments. Evil Raccoon says, always such a nice feeling walking into a bookstore, knowing you won't touch most of them again after purchase. But a nice surprise to come across hidden gems you bought months ago. Yeah, you have so many books, you're like, oh, I didn't know I had this. What a pleasant surprise. You know what's funny is my brother hoards books too. He has so many books. And I make fun. I would go over his place and make fun of him. I'm like, "Did you read this book?" And I would be randomly like pulling books out, right? I'm like, "I bet you didn't read this." Julian says, "I also looked at some point into the books of my grandfather." Yeah, that's cool. Harris says, in a podcast I was listening to, the guys that were drawing said that studying and learning is beneficial, but if you don't draw from imagination, then you don't concrete the information in your mind. Yeah, that is very true. That's why there are people that could, you know, draw from life or draw things from, make things look realistic, but then they can't do concept art. Or they wouldn't be hired as a concept artist because they lack imagination. So I think like if you really are meant to be a concept artist, you're gonna automatically do what you just wrote there, where you'll do the studies and then you'll implement them into a creative image, right? Your own character concept or environment concept. You're just naturally built that way, right? Your mind just wants to create instead of copy. You know what I mean? So I think if you are meant to be a concept artist, you don't have to try that hard. You're gonna just, your tendency is going to be to create new things. You know what I mean? And then there's some people who really like rendering things and making things look beautiful, and that's like their goal. Or more storytelling, they're into the more storytelling aspect, then they become illustrators, right? Because illustration is all about, it's less about design, more about storytelling, more about a perspective, like the perspective you put the character in, the way you're selling a specific character in a scene, right? Yeah, it's more about that. It's about rendering everything neatly and polished and presenting something as complete as a full package, right? That's more illustrative. So if you're more into that stuff, you'll become an illustrator, you know? And if you're a genius, you can do both. You know what I mean? Or genius meaning someone who's really, really talented, then you could do both. Julian's asking about re-education camp. I'm just joking, of course. I'm just playing around. I can't talk about it. No, I'm just kidding. They told me to tell you. I'm just joking. I'm just kidding. Now you guys don't know what's real and what's not. Alright, you guys are distracting me. I gotta finish this. Good thing I didn't make a bet. Alright, I'm just gonna indicate these windows. What do you mean Rampage, Martin? Are you talking about the game? The old school game? Julian's asking, how would you carve out of yourself if you are more an illustrator or concept artist? How would you carve out of yourself if you are more of an illustrator or concept artist? Are you asking like, how do you know which one you are? I thought I just explained it. Or are you asking about me? Or you're asking about in general? Oh boy. I'm just gonna clean up the lines or make some of these lines bolder so they read a little better. The overlaps read a little better. Julian said in general. Oh yeah, I kind of explained it already, but I'll maybe I didn't do a good job clarifying it. I will explain again. Illustrators tend to like rendering things. They tend to like storytelling, the storytelling aspect, right? They like presenting like a character in perspective, like in a certain crazy pose, or like having perspective coming at you. They like playing with different camera angles, playing with lighting, different lighting situations, painting more in a painterly way, right? They just illustrators just like playing with the whole imagery aspect, where again, it involves color, it involves lighting, pose, all that stuff, storytelling. That's what you're more into if you're an illustrator. If you're a concept artist, you're more into design. That's the biggest difference. You're into designing. You're into creating something new. You're into generating ideas endlessly. You don't mind starting over from scratch. You almost want to start over. You don't care about finishing something as much. Stuff like that, that's how you know the difference. Illustrators, of course, you get the reference from your client or whoever's giving you the task to illustrate. They're going to provide you with reference, right? They're going to say, draw this character, like for example, draw this werewolf character in this pose, or explore this pose, right? Draw a werewolf fighting Dracula, and then they'll give you the reference and you'll use that reference to draw them. Sure, like sometimes illustrators have some artistic freedom or leeway to create some tweaks or in the design, right? A little bit, not too much, because it still has to look like the characters that the art director or client is providing. But generally, you're just copying the design that's already in the reference. Does that make sense? So you're not actually designing something new. You're just presenting an existing design in a different way. Or in a scene. Does that make sense? So that's the difference between illustrators and concept artists. And of course there's concept artists that do both. Do both illustrations and concept art. Depending on what studio you work for, you may do both. And depending on your skill level, you may do both. Because they do use concept artists for marketing art at times. Depending on, again, the studio you work for, it all depends. The larger studios will tend to hire their own or freelance illustrators for their marketing art, but the smaller game companies might use you for use the concept artists for doing illustrations for marketing as well. So in your portfolio, even though you are trying to get a concept art position, it doesn't hurt to have a few illustrations. It's more like a bonus. It's not necessary though. Oops. Does that answer your question, Julian? Oh, what happened? I forgot to draw the donut thing. Oh, there it is. Donut shop. Save the donut shop. No, that's not the right drawing, is it? Is that right? Oh, maybe it is. I'm like, that can't be it. It looks horrible. Something's wrong here. What happened? I think I just forgot to redraw it. Put that in there. Oh, I did go buy donuts over the weekend. Rode my bike with my kid, one of my kids, to the donut shop. We actually tried a new donut place. And it was pretty good, it wasn't bad. I always buy more donuts than I expect to buy, like, before I go there, you know what I mean? And always end up spending more money and buying more donuts. I think that happens to everybody. Oh, what's going on here? Look at me. I'm not paying attention to any of this. I'm like, what the? I'll do whatever I want. That looks horrible there. I couldn't even get away with that one. Anyways. I mean, it looks awesome. Forgot. It looks awesome. It's looking great. This is why I'm a professional. This is why I get paid the big bucks. Look at this. Look at that. Amazing. That door makes absolute sense. Everything makes sense to me now. The whole universe makes sense to me. After I saw that door, the donut shop door, it should be a portal to enlightenment. You enter this donut shop, that's it. The truth comes out, everything's revealed. Your eyes are opened. Yeah, there should be like a donut hole portal. The sprinkles. And it's a portal. Woo. You enter for enlightenment. Oh shoot. The all-seeing eye is within the donut hole. That's the all-seeing eye. Illuminati symbol. But through the donut hole. I like that actually. I want to use that for something. The all-seeing eye. Through the donut hole. Don't steal that idea, guys. That's gonna be in the future when I open up my own donut shop. That's gonna be the logo for it. Or someone pay me for that if you want to use it. All right. That's it. I'm done. Mission accomplished. All right, let me actually clean up this layout, see if it actually works. Oops. What happened there? Oh. Whoops. What the? Oop, that was drawing on the wrong layer. What are you guys up to this week? Anything cool? Anyone going to Disneyland? Oops. Oops. Nothing, huh? Just working, that's good. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear that you guys don't have a life and that you guys are just working. That's exactly what I want to hear. I'm half joking, guys, but yeah. Perfect. It's great. Doesn't get better than this. Man, what happened to this guy? I forget what happened. Got all messed up. I'm sorry, I'm laughing at myself. I am laughing at myself right now. Hey, I'll be right back. If you like these streams, please give me a like. I appreciate it. For real. Yeah, give me one moment. I'll be right back. I'm gonna take a little break, okay? Thanks for waiting, I'm back. Alright. So let's finish up this layout. Let's see. How do I want to do this? Perfect. I think we're done. Looks amazing. Let's do JPEG. Let me know if you have any questions, because I'm done with this. In general, let me know. Oops, I forgot to scroll down. Hey Julian, yeah, so Julian says I'm scared because I like to do both. Yeah, I mean there's a lot of people, like for me too, in college I mean I still have so much interest in different aspects of art, right? I want to sculpt, I want to just make stuff like sculptural stuff is what I'm really would probably do. That's what I probably would do if I was retired. I would try to sculpt things, make things in 3D, like, you know, like a sculpture type thing. Even carving stuff out of wood. Anyways, the point is that I have a lot of interests within art as well that I want to do, but I choose not to do at this time because I need to focus on, you know, whatever I'm doing with my career right now. For the time being. But yeah, basically that's what you have to do too, in my opinion, is that you have to narrow it down as quickly as possible to what makes sense to focus on in the time being, right? If your goal is to get a job as quickly as possible in the industry, you want to narrow things down because you only, like we were talking about earlier, you only have a certain amount of time. And the more you spread yourself thin, the longer it's going to take for you to master or be at a level where you can get a job doing what you do, right? Hopefully that makes sense. Jessica says you are making me really want donuts. I am making myself want donuts as well. I could always use a good donut. Yeah, the Sauron eye in the donut. Yes, that's my logo for my future donut shop. Make sure to stop by once I open up. And Jessica's asking, when it comes to doing an orthographic layout like this, how do you like to organize it? Do you try to keep it simple or add a little more interesting detail like borders, etc.? For portfolio, I would say, yeah, try to make it look more appealing. You shouldn't go too crazy with it, right? Like some people add like textures and all this crazy like graphic stuff. Don't do that. Go for a more minimalistic, simple like graphic approach. That's what I would say. Yeah, it's always funny. Like you can tell a noob artist when they go crazy with the background and with the graphics. It's like them trying to make up for their lack of their lack of skill with the actual thing they're supposed to be doing, which would be concept art in this situation, right? So yeah, keep it simple. The whole point is make things readable. So possibly I might, like, let's say if you asked me, what would you do if you just wanted to make this more presentable? Yeah, I might add you could add a gray background. Like let's say I would put it, like let's say this is all cut out, right? I would fill it with a gray background probably, so you could see things better. Maybe I'll put a gradient on that gray background, so darker on the bottom, right? Let's see, where's my gradient? Oops. Whoopsie. Sorry, I'm messing up here for some reason, but basically, let me redo that. Yeah, you could add like a subtle gradient. Dang. On the bottom like that. You could add borders, yes. A simple border. Again, thinner than that looks gross, but you know what I mean. I'm sure you could find examples on Google. And you could write text, of course, like Kaiju, whatever. I can't even write. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Ortho. Blah, blah, blah. You could write little notes to make it look interesting, like this building is blah, blah, blah. This is the first donut shop created in the universe that will lead you to all understanding of good and evil. Open your eyes to the truth, right? Bernie lived in this apartment building, and the moment he finished his ortho, it exploded. You know, little notes like that. This kaiju is overweight, possibly pregnant, 3 weeks. You know what I mean? Just write little notes like that to make it look interesting. Yeah, so that's what I would do. Sound good? This is, anyways. Let's just leave it at that. Woo! If you want me to add those details in, that's another week. Alright guys, it was fun. Thanks for hanging in there with me while I was working on these turnarounds. Hope you guys have a good week working on all your projects. keep going. Remember, work hard. Work hard. Keep moving forward. Keep doing the studies. Gather reference. Follow the correct process, right, of creating your artwork. And you will get better, okay, guys? Have a great week. See you, Jessica. See you, everyone. Julian. Bye.